Happy Monday, everyone. It is Coach Darcy here, and I have things on my mind that surprisingly are things I want to share on a live, apparently. I make myself do lives because I can easily get wrapped up in these books that I'm reading or things that I'm learning and not share them with the world because I guess that's super important. But welcome. I am Coach Darcy. I am here doing a quick live this Monday to make an awareness of things that I'm going to be talking about today. I forgot to put my little spiel there, so I got stuck about what I was actually talking about. But uh, so here's what I'm going to try to find it because I've got some. Where's my little doodad thing? My captions. Okay, this is simple. Making good choices. How do we make good choices? Um, it's not necessarily the only thing I'm going to be talking about today, but it's going to be the main point uh, of my topic today. Recently, my mother she sent Coach Monica and myself a clip that she had fallen upon, and you know there's so many different sources, so many different keto influencers, health influencers, nutritionists, all sorts of different viewpoints of this. And I think we all can agree upon one thing as my husband comes in. So you're going to have to give the barking. Um, we can all agree upon that we are being manipulated and that there is now uh, a crisis. There is an epidemic in America, and this epidemic is obesity. Obesity, that was a weird way of saying that. We have an obesity epidemic in America. And you might say, oh, well, there's other countries that struggle with this. Even countries that are not like America and maybe are, you know, they like I don't know, second world countries. Whatever that may be. Yeah, cool. Um, but here's the thing: who's providing them with their food source? I was reading an article the other day about how um, there was a country that has an epidemic as well of obesity, and they work hard. They walk everywhere. They garden. They do all those things that they need to do. But America comes in and gives them food so that they are not, hungry. So we are passing out food to them, and they have an obesity problem. Um, so we are providing for these other countries, and that's awesome that we are able to do that and help them out. But we're not helping them with the food choices, the things that we are giving them. So America, we have an epidemic of obesity, and um, we need to fix that. So how do we fix that? And I can again say that nutritionists out there will share similar ideas behind how this can be done. Now, our foods, you may ask, why do we have this obesity epidemic? What has been different from when I was born in the 1950s? Like we used to eat like we do now, and we never had a problem before. And well, yeah, cool. Back in the day, they chose to, eat differently because their foods were not scientifically altered yet. There was not a whole lot of convenient choices. The fast food choices were different than what we have now. The convenience is more convenient nowadays than what it used to be. Even if you even go back in history, even farther, where our ancestors, you know, they had to hunt and gather. They had to grow these things organically and naturally. They did not have scientists to alter our foods to make them larger or look different or have more sugar in them or um, the grains that they used back in the day when they did make bread and they depended on bread and maybe had bread alone. That grain looks completely different than what grains that you find in our breads in the stores nowadays. So our foods are being altered, and it's a disappointing thing. Science is amazing. I love science. You cannot get me wrong with this. Science, there's a lot of benefits to that. Discoveries, how to make things better, how to prevent certain diseases that come about. Um, all sorts of things. But then science can be very dangerous because there's this power to alter things that shouldn't be altered. And we're finding that now in the 2000s. Back in the 1950s, no, they didn't really have that problem. They were altering things, but not like they are nowadays. So if you look from the 1950s to now, how much our food has changed. What is in our foods, in the processed boxes, the boxes that are pre-made and ready to go. So different. So different. And back to the video that I was talking about, it comes down to we have an epidemic. We have a problem. We have been taught that we should believe in the triangle pyramid, the one where we have little oils and then lots of grains. We follow those facts because these people are telling us to believe it because they've done all their work and studies, and we should believe everything that they said because they're smarter than us. Well, then there's that thing called common sense. Like there was nothing wrong with the way our ancestors ate. They hunted, they gathered, they had their portions. They ate when they were hungry and then they worked in between. They had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There was not 100 million different types of meals that we have now. We eat between 17 to I think 28 different times a day. There is not just 3 meals a day anymore. I just went to a youth conference this weekend, and the foods that were given to them all weekend, I'm like, how is this healthy? This is just feeding these children sugars upon sugars. And I mean, there's a certain amount of sugar that a child eats every single day. And it's about like 2 cups or something like that. This doesn't sound like a whole lot, but sure is a whole lot. I'm sure there's a more accurate number of how many cups of sugar a student will consume. And stats say that when a child is by the age of 3, they're already addicted to sugar because of all the things that we've given them, the crackers, the snacks. We're constantly feeding these kids. So they're constantly feeling like, oh yeah, this is what I need to do. Now I am not innocent from this. This is a world that I am battling with right now as a mother of 2 boys, where just as long as they eat, that is the most important thing. They don't make the best choices, but I have already ruined their taste buds, and I'm like, Lord, please, when they get older, let them have a better sense of taste. um, we provide salads, we provide them veggies, but we still have you know the crappy foods, but we choose organic, so it's less than crappy. But some of those organic foods are still pretty crappy. But it's an epidemic. It is. These children are already becoming diabetic. When they shouldn't be. People are younger and younger are becoming type 2 diabetic, pre-diabetic. There's a type 3 diabetic, which the type 3 is dementia. And dementia has been linked to, an over amount of sugars. Like there's so many different things that causes the type 3 diabetes, but we are in a epidemic, a pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it. We are struggling. And it's America, y'all. This is not happening everywhere else. This is happening in America. You can go overseas and you go over to France and they eat bread every single day, but they're walking, they're moving, they're doing all these things. You do not find a Parisian that is overweight because and it has to come down to how their food is being processed. 11 different countries have banned genetically modified foods. You cannot have genetically modified foods in those countries, but you can here. You can have certain ingredients that are in our foods, like red dye 40, in your foods, And, over in the other countries, it's banned for a reason because it causes mental issues. Don't get me on aspartame. Aspartame, in my opinion, over the studies, I'm seeing a pattern of addiction happening with aspartame. Aspartame is not considered a sugar. It is considered sugar free because it doesn't do a it's lower, apparently lower on the glycemic index, but I don't believe that it is. I'm pretty sure it has an addictive thing for the brain. Like there's so many issues with aspartame. You can't just have one diet soda. You're gonna crave the diet soda. Usually, when you're craving something and you have to have it, that's a sign of addiction. So, um, there's so much to the food system that is messed up, and we have a problem. Now, here's the question. How do we fix this? How do we fix this problem? Is it through this new shot that is available to have that quick fix of weight loss? Is it that next pill that is, you know, claiming to make people skinnier? Is it the new diet plan that, listen, it comes down to simplicity. Simplicity. You don't need to go to a doctor for a weight problem. It comes down to what foods you're putting in your body. Plain and simple. I've had plenty of experience right now through my years of coaching that have seen people reverse their health, their choices, all these things, and be better. They now have, uh, you know, no need for medications. They have no need because their A1C is better. Um, their cholesterol's better. Their other root problems, ailments, for whatever reason they're taking a medication for, is better because they're making better food choices. They are taking those sugars out of their diet. They are taking the wheat, the gluten, all of those things out of their diet. It's amazing when you just take away a couple things that are causing the havoc in one's body, how much better one feels. So the problem here, though, is that we have become so overweight in America that now we just want the weight off, or we're normalizing it. And yes, it is a normal thing. It is something that um, it comes down to, for me personally, I was 220 pounds. I was still happy. I was still a kind person. I still loved people. I still loved life. I just had extra weight on myself and I couldn't get it off. I had 2 children. I was a housewife. There was just all these things for me. And I just wanted to have the energy. I wanted to have the energy to be able to be with my kids, to tend to them and be able to be there with them for for a lot of their lives. Like they were most of their lives. My brain is still kind of stuck with the 450 kids, teenagers that I was with this weekend. So you're gonna have to forgive my brain because there's like a sleep. That was from a lot. There was lack of sleep, lack of so much energy. I was running laps around these teenagers. But that's where my brain is. So I apologize. Some of the words that are coming out of my mouth, I'm like, why am I saying this? I can't. Um, but anyway, we're normalizing this obesity. That's what's happening. The large amount, the percentage of America that is overweight. And it's not, so for me, losing 70 pounds, I technically am still considered to be obese at what weight I am right now. I don't feel overweight. I'm happy with where I am. So it comes down to bioindividuality here. This is kind of like the thing that I'm talking about. But we have health problems attached to that overweight problem. If somebody has obesity, they were most likely pre-diabetic or diabetic. They may be on several different medications. They have root ailments that are happening. So there's more that is attached to obesity than just being overweight. There's usually other things that are tagging along. So not fixing our diet, but we are wanting those quick fixes. That's where we're at. We are wanting to be able to be like, can I just go back in reverse and go back to the days when I was at my thinnest? Can I just do that? And there's this option to be able to do that via shot, via all those other things that I just talked about. There are so many things that you can do now with a convenience to get you back to your thin self, but it's not really long lasting because you're eventually going to have to get off of those medications or you're going to have to take them for the rest of your life. Lifelong medications. For me, I don't feel like I would have the finances for that. And I don't feel like I would want to have to give myself a shot or take a pill or fill in the blank for the rest of my life when I know I have certain foods in my life that I can consume and have the same results, if not better results. So making these choices before you jump on the bandwagon, I feel like that's where I'm going with this live. Process and thinking things out first before you jump on the bandwagon. Think about how you are and where you are mentally. Are you just wanting to take these things? I'm just going to start calling them things because you want instant results. You want to feel good about yourself and your own skin like yesterday. And so you're willing to do anything that it takes to be able to get there. Now I'm also going to have to wrap this up real quick because I also have boys coming off the bus at 3:30. So we're just gonna. This was a quick live and it was to the point and pretty sporadic. But my point of this whole live is making good choices before you jump on that bandwagon. If you don't see yourself being able to do this for the rest of your life, then don't do it. If you cannot, if it's not sustainable, don't jump on that bandwagon. Period. If you probably can't afford it for the rest of your life either, you probably shouldn't do it. It comes down to going back to the way our ancestors ate and lived by movement, by hunting and gathering, by choosing the simple choices that are not in boxes in the store. So we just have the convenience of a store as well. Being able to go to a store and get whatever we want because it's readily available for us. So before you jump on that bandwagon, make a good choice by processing things out first. That's my point. And look at the sun. I'm just going to sit in the sun real quick because it's just gorgeous today. I thought, oh, the sun's terrible. No, it's not. I was going to bash at you, but now I just want to be like a cat sitting in the sun. That's why cats do that. And dogs. Dogs do that too. Anyway, listen, we are allowing those scientists out there to create these foods in order for us to be addicted to them. If you think I'm fibbing right there, there are actual scientists that is their job, to make a food so addictive that you can't just have one. And most likely, that food choice is not going to have any nutritional value for your body other than making the organs go out of whack and just start a downward spiral of addiction. So my point is, if you can't um, look at the other ingredients under in your nutritional label and think that it is okay. I don't even know what my words were saying. Let me just encourage this. If the first few ingredients on that nutritional label is sugar cane or made up sugar like aspartame, and here comes my kids, um, oils, seed oils, synthetic things, and words that you can't pronounce, my suggestion for you is to don't buy it. Keep it on that shelf. It is not for you to buy. If you need help or assistance, I know. Thank you for bearing with me on this live, but my point is make good choices before you jump on that bandwagon. And tomorrow we have a live, and which will probably be better because I would have most likely had more sleep, and I will be more awake and alert and ready to go. And I will have Coach Monica with me, and we will be at live at 11 o'clock. So hopefully I will see you tomorrow at 11. And then I apologize that I can't see anybody's words if they had said anything on my lives, because apparently, oh, I see you. Hi, Kathy. Apparently, um, now I'm seeing them because now I don't know why it's not popping on here, but anyway, I hope that you all have a fantastic day. I really do need to wrap this up, but I hope to see you tomorrow at 11 for Coach's Corner. And I'm going to try to just end the stream and we'll see what happens. I might just have to sit and smile. So I promise you, I will have a better put together live this week. That is a promise. And if you have any topics that you want me to talk about, I can do that. It will be more of an informative one. That would probably be better. Well, this was pretty informative. But yeah, we'll talk to you all on the flip